outfits. Same outfits. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Coach Mike is here, and this is for everybody who likes dudes. So yeah, well, we were very sweaty from the roll earlier, and as we were discussing, it gets really cold immediately if you're sweating. Anyway, so Mike actually had an idea. You want to take it away?
Yeah, so I kind of want to go over some MMA philosophy, which I suppose could be used in a self-defense structure as well, since MMA does kind of somewhat resemble it, barring the weapons and things of that nature, of how to take an opponent to the ground. And the big thing that I want to get across for this is how it's different than when we're wrestling or doing jiu-jitsu, right? And I think a lot of things immediately are obvious, oh, duh, there's different tools. Like in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, you don't got to worry about getting punch, kick, knee, or elbow, right? And yes, that's true, and that's what changes a lot of it, okay? So you know what, let's just get right into it. So when we're thinking of taking someone down in wrestling or jiu-jitsu, right, our stances are naturally lower because we're not worried about striking, right? And when we're striking, we're in a more upright stance to generate better power with our strikes and things of that nature. So when we're grappling, we're down lower, so it changes the way I enter, all right? It's still, common rules still apply, right? In order for me to enter into his legs and take him down with single leg, double leg, those are the type of takedowns I'm speaking of today, I have to get lower than his head, and I have to get past his hands, and I have to hit his hips, okay? Head, hands, hips. The head's the first one. If we're in wrestling stances here, and we never get lower than the other person's head, we're never gonna get into the legs, right? So we always need to get lower. And now, the hands are a level of defense he can block me off with, so I do something to clear those hands up, boom, and I'm in on the hips looking for my takedown, okay? Whereas in MMA, our stance is much more upright, all right? So as I drop down to my knee to enter for a typical wrestling and jiu-jitsu shot, I don't need to do so in MMA. In fact, probably would be less beneficial. It'd probably be taking me too low, okay? So I just simply need to, again, get lower than your head, get your hands out of the way, and enter into the legs, which are higher due to the stance that we're in, right? And you wouldn't come out in a wrestling stance to fist fight me, right? Now I'm just gonna piece you up, all right? So the setup becomes a little bit different as well, right? If you watch some wrestling, jiu-jitsu, we do a lot of hand fighting. We're moving arms out of the way, doing all types of footwork while we're moving our arms, as you see whenever we're wrestling as well. That pretty much is gone when we come to MMA. That is replaced by striking, right? Because I can't be out here reaching out for his arms and just getting crushed. So we're here striking. So there's two different ways that I occupy his hands, or I remove his hands as defensive tools for my takedown. All right, there's proactive and reactive, okay? We'll start with reactive because I think it's probably more beneficial at first, all right? So a reactive thing I could do is I could wait for a punch, and when that punch comes out, I'm underneath the punch, and I use that as my entry into my takedown, okay? A proactive way, which it takes a little bit more skill, is I'm doing something to proactively keep his hands up. And the best thing typically I can do to do that is occupy it with a combination, right? He has to respect it or else the combination's gonna land. So what I'll do is I'll start my combination, and at a convenient part in that combination, I'll lower my level and I'll enter in, all right? There's also other factors that come into range, right? If my opponent is moving backwards as I'm coming in proactively, I would prefer not to shoot because distance is being created and I'm likely gonna be chasing him and my head's gonna be down, and we have a whole video on what to do when someone's head's down and how to take advantage of that. So in that instance, I wouldn't elect to shoot. I would elect to shoot if my opponent stands their ground or comes forward. And if it's a reactive shot, he's starting to punch at me, they're coming forward, okay? All right, so just a little bit of philosophy on the differences between takedowns, our traditional standard single legs and double legs for wrestling / jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Awesome. Yeah, the stuff that I probably should think about more because I don't do a whole lot of MMA. I'm mostly doing grappling. So yeah, that's a really great. I appreciate that. Hopefully you appreciate that too. So let us know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe, and come down and train.
It's real. Where does it go? It just.